Well, how do the chums? It's I, Captain Stephen. Today, chums, I'm doing a quick review of SiFu. Now, you may have seen me playing SiFu live, and yeah, I had a great time playing it live. However, what I would say is playing it live and playing it offline are two different things. Playing it online, you can hear me, one, smashing the heck out of my control pad, because yes, you have to be like a freaking ninja of the joypad to play this game, people. And yeah, and also there's the pressures of being live as well. Plus also, this game, technically, you have to play it through, die, play it through, die, play it through, until you unlock a lot of skills, and then you get to the stage where you can play through and hammer the levels and do it perfectly. But there's things I like about SiFu. Then there's things that I'm not too keen on about SiFu, and I'm just going to cover those off with you. So here you can see I've just picked myself up a lovely crowbar. Now when you pick up a lovely crowbar, it does make lovely noises when you hit people about the head. I like those noises. That's a plus. What I don't like so much when you've got a crowbar in hand or any weapon in hand is you can't really then throw people off of ledges. So if you don't have a weapon, I'll put this weapon down in a second, there's another guy up here, I could probably throw a bottle or two at his head or something. Yeah, there's a bottle on the floor there, so if I pick that up, smash him in the face with this one, smash him in the face with that one so he's dazed, if I can get to him quick enough, and parry, and then I can throw him over the balcony. There you go, goodbye you! Yeah, I do like using the environment against the bad guys, and I do like using the weapons, and it's completely how you want to take them on. And I do like that. So it's got a lot of pros going for it. And you can approach these levels however you like. But because you're going to be playing through these levels over and over again to get the XP to unlock the skills, no matter how you go about attacking and delivering your pain upon these individuals, it's very samey. They're always going to be in the same place. They're always going to try the same shenanigans against you to some certain degree. But sometimes there can be some frustrating elements. One of those frustrating elements is you can completely clear an area without taking any damage whatsoever and not taking any sort of age progression, which I'll get to in a minute. And then the next time you play through, some guy hits you with a lucky hit, which then rains down death upon you, because everybody then rains down hits on you, and you die. When you manage to do that area completely clean, and you're like, oh my days, if only he didn't do that, yeah. And there's major moments of frustration to be had in this game. Don't get me wrong though, when you pull off something amazing, it feels amazing, it really does. So here's a corridor where I'm going to take on all these people. I'm going to shut up and let you watch this.
Nerves get the better of you? Whoa!
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I know I did. It was very much an old boy sort of moment, wasn't it? Really loved that movie. And there's lots of little nods to all the sorts of kung fu films of yesteryear that I grew up on. And I really freaking love that about this game. It plays on nostalgia. It really does. Okay, so what I don't like is sometimes you can reach an area that you've managed to get through cleanly without taking any sort of hits and going up in age, which I'll get to in a moment, and then all of a sudden they go completely mental on you, go into super god mode and kick your freaking butt. It just becomes super frustrating. You're like, oh my days, well I'm doing worse than I did last time. I'm not getting any better at this game, which I feel there should be more sort of checkpoints where you can restart from. Now, another thing is I feel that they're locking your actual moves away behind a grind sort of wall. Like here, it's like, you see all the moves at the bottom of that chain there? Well, if you've died too many times and that bottom sort of medallion disappears, so do those 4 sort of greyed out pidgets for skills, and you can't unlock them anymore. So you're kind of forced to try and unlock the bottom ones first, but they're actually more expensive than the ones at the top, which means you've got to sort of work your way down before you can actually unlock the skills at the bottom of that chain to get where you need to be to just completely decimate a lot of the levels. But it feels like you've got got to die and play this rogue-like sort of mapped out environment to sort of unlock all those skills. So it feels that you only get good at the game if you've got time to invest in the grind of the game. And considering that the levels and where the actual persons appear are quite sort of repetitive, and there's only 5 areas, it kind of feels that they've done this on purpose to sort of stop you from progressing and getting through the game too quickly, because there's not that many levels. And people are sort of like, well, this is great because I'm unlocking all these sort of abilities and I'm earning my way through this game. Well, if you had all those abilities, you could probably get through this game in half the time without the grind. And there's a lot of people out there that haven't got the time to invest in that grind to get the full benefit of the game. So I'm thinking perhaps maybe what they should do is, say if you get to age 70 before you reach the second boss, maybe it can realise that maybe you haven't got the potential at this point in time to understand the full mechanics of the game, and perhaps they could unlock an easier mode where you get all the skills unlocked, but whatever you do, it doesn't actually give you XP that carries over to a normal mode. So you can actually play through and feel the actual abilities and see what you can do with your XP, and you can work out strategically what you want to unlock and when. Because at the moment I'm blindly unlocking these things, hoping it's going to help me out, and I don't really know what skill is what. And this is another example of the guy just goes into super overdrive mode. You see he's got that sort of yellowish hue about him and he's gone sort of on fire. I don't know what that means exactly. It's like they almost get supercharged. A person in that area, if you don't take them out, all of a sudden get supercharged. And I've noticed that sometimes you can take out the person that was supercharged before and a different one would get supercharged. And it's really frustrating, especially if you manage to clear that area, like I say, without going up in age or anything like that. And then you go back to that same area and you get your butt handed to you on a plate by somebody that you managed to kill super quickly before. There's also these passive abilities that you get for going to these little shrines, and unlocking those, they stay unlocked even on your next playthrough, which is kind of cool, kind of nice. I kind of like that. That's pretty cool. But it does sort of demand that you play through over and over again, like I'm saying, with this rogue type sort of approach to a combat fighting game. I like the fact that you can use the environments against the people. So here I'm up on the roof, I can get rid of my pole and then I can throw them, so I can parry and throw. I wish you could parry and throw with a weapon, which would be quite nice, wouldn't it? But you can't, so yeah, sometimes you have to ditch a weapon if you get to a rooftop and you want to just murder them by throwing them off. So it's tactical, don't get me wrong, it's tactical. I love the tactical element of this game. In fact, I'd say there's more pros about this than there are cons. So let me go through the pros and cons. Okay, so let me go over the pros. So pros, it's got a beautiful art style. I love this. It's like a painting brought to life. It looks freaking phenomenal, doesn't it? And it's very fluid and runs at a decent frame rate. I like that. It's really nice. I like the little motion blurs and things and all that sort of nuances. It looks great. And the actual character designs are nice. I'm liking all the tattoos and how they come across. They do look quite threatening. I would say that some of the actual enemies look a little bit repetitive. I think the music is great and the actual sound effects are spot on. I love the sounds of when you hit them with bamboo as well. It's almost musical. It's quite cool. Yep. I like the story as well. I like the story and the little, you see the thing hanging off his belt, that little doohickey that makes you sort of immortal or whatever. And I like the aging system as well. So as you get older, you actually get frailer, but as you deliver a hit, it delivers more damage because you're getting more skillful in what you're doing, which plays out in those passive skills as well, and which ones you want to unlock. You can be a little bit tactical with that. So I'm loving all of that. That's all nice. That's all great. And I think there's some great ideas here with the progression, but I do feel that it almost demands that you grind out the levels and it promotes repetitive play, which to me, I just don't find fun. So I'm not really into roguelike games, and that's the reasons why I don't really like the Bloodborns and the Demon Souls of the world too much. I mean, I enjoy them to the point that it gets grindy, and then I'm like, well, this is just learning repetition. And it kind of feels that way with this. It's not a traditional beat 'em up. If you're going into this thinking it's Streets of Rage, but a grand new visualization of it, no, it's really not. You have to be tactical, you have to be able to deal with frustrations, and you have to have a decent level of skill with the old joypad. I'm just not that good at parrying and blocking, and perhaps that's probably why I'm not enjoying it as much as I can, because it just doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like any other beat 'em up that I've come across, but it does feel very groundbreaking. You know, when sort of like Shenmue came out, and it was like, wow, this is freaking another level. This is like the Shenmue of today in a roundabout way, apart from it's super duper skimpy. It's got 5 levels, 5 areas, but some of the bosses are freaking awesome. There's one lady that spins this stuff around, there's waves coming in, and there are all sorts of other stuff going on. There's some beautiful moments in this game, there honestly is. And yet, if you've got the time and you've got the patience and you don't mind the grind, I would seriously suggest getting it. And that's the cons. It's repetitive and grindy, and it's frustrating to the point of rage quitting at times, people, because sometimes they just go completely nuts like this. It's happening again. So yeah, I'm not going to be scoring this a 9 out of 10 just because I feel that it's got too much grind for what it needs to be. This game is a good game if you've got time to get good at it. If you haven't got time, I wouldn't really pick this up. I don't think it's the game for everyone, but if you've got time and you want mastery, it's definitely for you. I'm giving it an 8.10 because it's not for me. Well, thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see, please hit a like and a subscribe, and I'd like to say a massive great big thank you to all of my backers over on Patreon and over on YouTube membership. Thanking you, backers! And if you want to support this channel, just don't skip the adverts. That throws revenue down my avenue. Or yeah, just stay with Captain Steve that little bit longer and hit something on this screen. There's merch here now too.